Here we are, back in the kitchen to make our live meatloaf. Here's our rosemary and our parsley that we need. We do need to rinse them off. Okay, so we just rinse them just to get any little bug out of there. Normally, if I were going to use live herb for a salad, I would rinse them and then put them in the salad spinner, because then they'd be nice and dry, like, you know, how you dry lettuce as well for a salad. This, it won't matter because we're just blending this with many other ingredients, and so it doesn't matter if it's a little wet. Okay? Okay. So, for this live meatloaf, the first thing we're going to do is rinse our nuts. They've been soaking overnight. You can see the water's turned a little bit brown and cloudy. That doesn't matter. You can rinse it right off like that. Or you can just put it in a colander. This whole recipe is going to be created in the food processor. Okay? So here it is, ready to go. I have almonds, about a cup of almonds. I have a cup of walnuts and about a cup of sunflower seeds. They've soaked overnight and they're soft. One of the reasons we soak the nuts is because there's enzyme inhibitors in all raw nuts, so that the product won't sprout before it's time. So that's why you have to soak them first. If you soak them long enough, the enzyme inhibitors are soaked off of it. And that's what I just poured off into the sink. So now all the powerhouse of nutrition in these nuts is ready to be released. And a lot of people who have trouble with nuts or digesting nuts is because of that. They're not soaked first, so they still have an enzyme inhibitor in the nut. Pouring them into the food processor. Okay, now we'll add our other ingredients. We'll go ahead and chop these herbs. Rough chop, because they're real soft. Remember, we were out in the garden and you saw that. Okay, and the food processor will do the rest of it. Okay, now we have our celery, which was already washed, so I can just chop that up. Again, rough chop. Raw food recipes are often not that hard to do. You basically can throw everything in the food processor and then dry it. Okay, now we're going to do our onion. Probably about, a tablespoon or two. Getting any onion paper in there. That's probably plenty. I'll save the rest of that. Okay, this hasn't been washed yet, so again, I'm going to do that same kind of washing style. Oops. I put the vinegar on it. Then I rub it all around kind of so it gets in all the crevices. And then I go like this and I just rinse it off. Okay, so I'm going to use maybe about a half. I'll pull the seeds out. And the stem. I don't know why. It's probably would blend up and be just as good for you as well. Hope the vitamins aren't hiding in there. Red peppers are really high in vitamin C. Okay. Now we have our marinated mushroom. Throw that in. Okay, now we've got a lot of stuff in there. Let's see what kind of liquid I wanted to put. Oh, let's see, let's put some olive oil. That'd be good. And we still have some dry herbs we're going to add. Okay, so I'd say maybe 1/4 to 1/2 cup of olive oil. I think half's too much, too many calories. So I'm estimating about 1/4 cup. There we go. A little teeny bit of salt, but not much, because we already have the namashoyu, which is like soy, and that has a lot of salt in it. So I'm just giving it a little something to say I did. Okay. A little cumin seed will be good in this. And what else was I thinking? Maybe a little ginger. Not much, because you don't want that to overpower anything. And of course, if you had fresh, which I don't right now, you'd use fresh. That probably wasn't enough to do anything. There. Okay, now we're going to start our blending process. Okay, it looks dry to me, but when you're blending raw vegan stuff, because it takes a while for the nuts to break down in here, at first it can look and seem really dry, and then as the nuts spin around and break down more, it's going to be more creamy, and it actually will become more creamier as it blends. One trick about blending raw vegan food, though, is that you cannot let it just go and go and go until the machine gets hot, because it can actually raise the temperature around the blade so that you're killing enzymes. And the whole point is not to get the temperature up past 118 degrees. So what I do, right now, that was just a short blend. But if I were going to blend for a long period of time, like I might on cashew butter or something, I'll leave the room and do something else and come back. In this case, I don't think we'll need to. I'm going to make a couple different blends and then kind of pause in between. Okay, right now I need to go get a spatula, so that'll be my pause. Well, and I'll find a spatula. God, where's all my stuff? Where's my spatula? Here's one. I like this one.